Musical Talk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Welcome to this week's Amazing Technicolor episode. I am sat here with Tonya. Hello, Tonya.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
We're in your beautiful home today.
Yeah,
We just had lovely lasagna that you made. And your cat, Splat, is joining us as well. So we're going to be talking about Joseph and Amazing Technicolor Doodah today that I saw at the London Palladium, the opening night. And it was very exciting, as these opening nights always are, with a very biased audience. Splat, the cat, is now climbing up Tonya's legs. This production, for me, is not important, but it was nostalgic, dare I say, because I saw it originally at the London Palladium, whenever that was, 1993 or 2 or something like that, with our very own Mike Dixon conducting, and Jason Donovan was starring in the production as Joseph, in the titular role. It was nice to go back to the London Palladium and almost sit in the same seats and see Jason Donovan back in this production, not playing Joseph, but playing Pharaoh. What's your thoughts on the piece? Why is it so successful, Tonya? Why is it packing out the Palladium 45 years after the show was written?
You have to think about the amount of people who've probably done this show at school, or kids have done this show at school.
It's been done at over 20,000 schools around the world.
That does not surprise me. It is familiar to people. People know what to expect when you say Joseph. It's a really loved piece, and you can totally see why. Even if we look down on the music and we go, well, this isn't particularly great about it, or this is a particularly fantastic lyric, or whatever. It works. It really works. And I'm not sure if it works as a musical that could run for years and years and years continuously. I think that it's great that it's going to Palladium for a limited summer season because it has an audience. More than anything for me, it's a school show and it works for kids, and it works in that capacity.
And this production really plays on that. So Lawrence Connor, the director, has even said that he directed it through a child's eyes.
Yeah.
So much so that we have the traditional productions of Joseph, and by traditional I mean the Palladium one. I know there have been other ones, and there's the film, which is based on the Palladium one as well, has a choir.
Yeah.
So they will often stand at the back and not do anything, because the piece was originally written as a 20-minute sung-fu choral piece, and now the show is a 2-hour-long sung-fu not choral piece. But in this production, the kids kind of interact with the narrator, played by Sheridan Smith, and they are flung into the action, playing characters like Potiphar and some of the brothers. Do you like that idea, Tonya, or do you think it's too school play-like?
For a Palladium production, which is supposed to be one of the biggest stages in London,
one of them, yeah.
You would expect to think a little bit more than that. You would expect a massive children's choir. Well, I would expect a massive children's choir, blockbuster cast. I don't just mean Sheridan Smith playing every single role. I mean an actual blockbuster cast and the whole shebang. Tons of set, tons of I would expect everything.
Now, one of the issues I had was the original production. Sorry to keep going back to that. Had wonderful set pieces.
Yeah.
For example, when Joseph's entrance for Any Dream Will Do, the first time that song comes around, he kind of floated down through the clouds, this massive wall of dry ice, or not dry ice, this kind of smoke wall, and he was on a platform at the top of the stage, and he lowered down. He was lowered down onto the stage, and that was beautiful. In this production, he just kind of rises up from a trapdoor, which would work in the stalls because he would appear out of nowhere. But I was the front row of the dress circle, and I could see the hole in the stage open, and I can see him rise up. So that illusion was ruined for me. We also had, in the original production, kind of animatronic camels and sheep that were skeletal that collapsed by themselves. And in this production, we had camels that were bicycles with camel heads on the end of them.
Which seems a little bit cheap for a Palladium production.
It's not cheap. It's very expensive what they had to do, but again, it's going for the school play thing, and we had a sheep on a skateboard that was pushed onto the stage. We could sit here and pick flaws in this production. Everyone still loved it. I have to give special mention to Jack Yarrow, who is playing the title role of Joseph. I saw him in Newsies at the ArtZed production. What's amazing about Jack is that he has not yet graduated from ArtZed. He graduates in September, and here he is on opening night of Joseph, getting a standing ovation for Close Every Door to Me, playing the lead role. Absolutely underwritten character, does so little.
I don't know. I think Joseph does quite a lot. Gets the two massive numbers. I know the narrator's got a huge part as well. I would say that those two parts are probably equal.
The crux of this production lies within the narrator, and the narrator in this production is played very well. Whatever you think of how it's done by Sheridan Smith, she's non-stop in this show. She's dancing, she's playing the spoon, she's tap dancing, she's break dancing, she's singing, doing a lot of physical stuff. It has drawn criticism for being Sheridan Smith in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It has become her show, so much so that she even takes the final bow.
And has top billing. And Joseph always bows last because that's the person that the whole show's about.
Yeah.
It's not about Sheridan. It's not the Sheridan show. It's about Joseph. And that the story has to take precedent over everything, really. That kind of annoys me a little bit.
We don't know if it's what she's doing is her choice or if it's Lawrence Connor's directors, but the show starts off with her bringing these kids on stage and they sit around a fire pit and
which is fine, because she's in the room and she's bringing the story to life. Absolutely fine.
She plays Mrs. Potiphar and she plays Jacob, the father of the 25,000 sons. She was a bit kind of mugging it and knowingly playing it. So lots of winking to the audiences, lots of that British thing was of, I'm getting it wrong, but I'm going to keep doing it. The bit that really kind of annoyed me a couple of times was when she was Jacob or when she was Potiphar, whether she had a beard on or whether she had a eye patch on, she would lift it or lower it and say, "It's still me." And I thought, yes, we know that. We can see it's you. We're not idiots.
It's that panto thing, though, isn't it? Is it a glorified panto, this, in a sense?
No, because it doesn't have...
panto?
It doesn't have... it's not very funny to start off with as a piece. It's not joke after joke after joke. There's lots of visual gags in the show. I think it's the use of the musical styles that's always made it seem a bit irreverent. But it's for kids.
But then again, they know that the parents are going to be coming to watch it, so there has to be something for the older generation in it too.
And that's why we have Jason Donovan.
Original Joseph, so that appeals to fans of the people that saw the music originally.
You couldn't understand a word he was saying of the songs. He was a bit mumbling in his words. But it's just great to see him there. He gets a wonderful entrance. You know, he's carried on by servants and things through the back door that opens up, and it's very, very grand. I don't know. I mean, I know when the night of we're recording this, he's off. And some people have specifically booked to go and not see Jason Donovan. They want to see someone who can sing the lyrics. Do we need Song of the King 4 times in a production? Not including the mega mix.
No, not really. But it's the big showstopper of Act 2.
Yeah. With a lot of Lloyd Webber stuff, it's quite simple melodies that repeat themselves, that get in your head.
But again, this is for children.
Yeah. Beautifully orchestrated by John Cameron, who did Les Mis, which we'll talk about in a bit. Beautifully arranged. We have some very, very nice new dance arrangements and some new arrangements of songs that we know. So Go, 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 Joseph was originally written in 1968 as a 60s thing because of the Go, Go Girls. They got rid of that now. It's almost like a kind of stomp-esque breakdance number, which is quite fun.
I don't know, it's nice to do some different things with it, obviously update it or whatever. It doesn't need to be. I did this with the kids at school. They couldn't stop singing Go Go Joseph. You would hear them walking to break, they would be singing Go Go Joseph.
They haven't changed the melody, they just changed the dance arrangement. So there's no reference to 60s
They will have had
costumes.
to change the orchestrations completely, because it's completely 60s, that piece, is what I'm saying. So it will have changed. For me, it needs its massive children's chorus. It needs adults playing the roles, because there's something quite funny about, you know, grown men being brothers and all that kind of stuff. I just think I don't know, you don't need to mess around with it. And the music is timeless. It doesn't matter if it's 60s. The whole point of the show is the fact that they send up all these different styles, because you have the Ken Days is French, One Angel in Heaven's like a Western number band dance type thing. Like
no explanation at all.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. It's no explanation at all. So it doesn't need to be updated to something else. It's just.
I need to talk about those Canaan days because it had a rather interesting twist in it. Slight confusion between the word Canaan and Can because they sound the same.
One, that's a terrible joke because they do not sound the same.
But it led to quite a fun dance break. I don't think the joke was actually needed.
Well, not in a kind of number, because
No.
Kane and Days, they don't have any energy because they're all starving to death. That's the point of it.
But then Sheridan comes out and interrupts them and does a can-can.
It annoys me because it sounds like it's just opportunities for Sheridan Smith to goof around.
And it makes you wonder, if you were to see it with the understudy playing Sheridan Smith, how would that affect the evening? Would it be better or would it be worse?
I think she's a fantastic actress. I think she's a fantastic TV actress, but I don't rate her as a singer, and that's my another annoyance with this role, is the narrator is a soprano role, and it really annoys me because she won't be able to sing any of it.
Oh, she's down the octave. You know, the chained and bound afraid. That's all chained and bound. That's all down the octave.
Yeah, that bothered me, and I was just like, why don't you cast someone who can actually sing it? But for me, personally, she's not a musical theatre singer.
I did sit there thinking when she was not sustaining any of the long notes.
Yes.
For example, the beautiful Act 2 opening, what's it called?
Fairer Story.
Fairer Story had that wonderful long notes in it, and she wasn't doing that. And I sat there thinking, is this the same woman I saw play Elwood so wonderfully in Legally Blonde? Again, it's still a very enjoyable evening, and once you accept how they're doing it, it does kind of work. It's very funny. The energy in the cast is excellent. The lighting is excellent. I like the fact that due to LED technology, we finally have the ability to have every single colour in that spectrum be displayed on stage, which was quite nice. The proscenium arch was a kind of screen that was able to display the colours as well, which was
very cool.
Sound was very good. The band were the best thing about it, beautifully led by John Rigby, dancing at some points. Oh, we had to clap. The audience had to clap the clapping bits back in Kane in the Future. The laugh, clap, clap, clap. and people are saying this isn't a show that should be jovial at all. It's about killing, and it's about slavery, and it's about fratricide. Thank you, Tim Rice, for that lyric, because 10-year-olds know what that word means. Some people just don't like it because it's not a subject that should be taken jokingly at all.
Kids are more resilient, and I think than we think, and there's a whole moral point to that sort of thing. He gets his own back on the brothers, and there's a lot to be said about friendship and loyalty, and a lot of biblical stories have a moral point to them. They're not meant to be taken literally. No. They're meant to be, a lot of them are figurative.
Now, the reviews have been very good on the whole. It's not selling though. There are lots of deals. For example, on the website we all love, Today Ticks, you can see it for £45.
That's good. I'm not one of those people who is snobby about Joseph. If you say Joseph, it divides people. People go, oh yeah, it's a bit of cheese, it's a bit of fun, it's a guilty pleasure kind of sort of thing.
It's my guilty pleasure as well.
Well, then you get the complete opposite side, like, oh, it's dreadful, it's atrocious, it sounds like it's a nursery rhyme, it sounds like it's written by 5-year-olds. The point of it is it's written for children. That's the point. That's why it's so repetitive. And a lot of music's repetitive. Operas are repetitive. They have themes that repeat over and over and over again. It's very common. It's not completely childish choice to make, especially in a sung through piece. It's kind of a wink to the audience to remember this bit.
It works
before.
for Joseph.
It works for Joseph, and it works when you're teaching it to children because they're like, oh yeah, I remember that bit. There's nothing wrong with that. The lyrics are not that dumb. What's the quite clever lyric? All these things you saw in your pyjamas or a long range podcast for your farmers, which is very satisfying lyric. There are quite a few in there that are quite satisfying.
What do you think Any Dream Will Do is about? Because I still have no idea what that song is about every time I hear it.
It could mean gone to sleep, gone to that dreamlike world. Curtain opens on the dream, maybe. There's someone weeping, could be Jacob, his dad. Obviously, his dad's devastated because he thinks Joseph's dead.
But you said something really interesting. It doesn't work at the beginning of the show.
No, in my opinion, it doesn't work at the beginning of the show. So the version that I did at school was the 60-minute version, which opens with Jacob and Sons. Basically, it's everything. It just doesn't have the prologue. And it finishes with Any Dream Will Do. And parents, obviously, that came to watch it, they know Joseph so well. Some of them probably did at school. Some probably, have seen it over the years. It's so familiar to people, and that's the most well-known song in the whole show. So when it finally came at the end, they were like, "Oh my God, this song!" and they went nuts. And I can imagine it was the same for any audience watching that particular version of it because they're waiting for that song all the way through. Whereas if you do it at the beginning, you've done it. What else? And the rest of the show, for me, it's not the best tune in the whole show. Personally, there are things in the show I like a lot more than that particular song. But that is the most well-known song. That's the earworm. That's the thing that people remember. That's the one song that people are waiting for.
It was the hit in the 90s.
Well, exactly. So, don't do it at the beginning. Because then they sit for the rest of it, and it's great, okay, you reprise it at the end or whatever, but leave it till the end. In my opinion, it needs to be at the end, because it's what the audience are waiting for
I
the whole
wonder
thing.
if it was put in the beginning of the Palladium production just because it was the hit song.
Possibly, or to pad it out, because
Yes,
it's
that's
short.
another issue I have with this show, is you can tell that this is a 20-minute musical padded out to within an inch of its life.
Well, I would say 45-minute musical now. I mean, it was originally a 20-minute cantata thing, but then the production that evolved out of that was a 45-minute piece, and it works in a 45-minute sung-through thing. It doesn't need to be much longer than that. Then you have to start padding out with filler, don't you, really?
Lots of dance breaks. And the dancing in this production was very, very good, I will say. It was very integrated because the narrator pops in and does dancing, joins in with the brothers and joins in with the kids, and the kids will do the dancing along with the grown-ups, and that went down very well. There's a lovely tap dance routine, and the great barn dance, Oklahoma thing.
One More Angel in Heaven.
One More Angel in Heaven. There was even a dance break in Song of the King. So yes, lots of dancing. Act 3, the mega mix. It's essentially the whole show just told again.
Yeah, I know. It's just it is in the same order. It's kind of it's really odd. It's nice that it's there for a limited summer season. Think about how many schools will have done Joseph this year, and how many of those kids will probably end up going to see it. I think that's the thing to take away from it. Really, is the music. It works. It's timeless.
Yeah. Joseph in Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is playing at the London Palladium, where Angela River came out at the end and said, "This is now the home of Joseph. We hope it'll come back." So it might be a kind of regular summer stunt casty thing.
Like I say, I've got no problem with that.
No.
I don't see it being a long-running show.
And the Palladium isn't a long-running venue anymore.
No.
It's kind of, we got the pantomime, we got Joseph, we've got concerts that go in and out.
Which is what I think it should be really used for, really, I think.
Yeah, plonk Sister Act back in there, that's what I say.
I would love to see that. Sister Act's my favourite.
Just a quick addendum to this little discussion. At the time we're recording this, which is on a Saturday evening, and we are in the 13th of July, is the night that Les Mis closes in London. The current...
The original production.
Revolvi Les Mis, we'll call it.
It's revolving out of here.
Yes, they're about 1/3 of the way through Act 1 at the moment, probably.
1/3 of the way through, yeah. Fontine's just died.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen it before it went. I've seen it many times.
You're in it.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen it probably one last time, this original production, because it's never going to be anywhere ever again. You know,
I think
it's nice that it's got a future.
I think it'll make an appearance somewhere.
Like a special sort of revival production.
Like a tour in Dubai or something. You know, I'm sure it'll...
I reckon they're going to open
something.
some sort of Les Mis museum. Put the revolve in some sort of museum for people to go, some sort of Les Mis experience.
Yeah.
But,
so there'll be lots of empty chairs for a while for this show.
Well, for a little while, until the concert performance
Yes.
in the Gielgud next door.
Ball.
And Bo.
And Fletcher and Lucas.
Yes, which I'm going to see in September. I got tickets for my mum's birthday, so I'm actually going to see that, so I can report back on whether it's any good.
Aren't you generous?
Yeah, I suppose.
And then the new Les Mis is going to open at which theatre?
The Queen's.
No.
Oh, what?
The Sondheim.
Oh, the Sondheim, yeah. Sondheim.
Way to tribute Sondheim with a musical that isn't his.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit of a strange choice. They could have not chose a British composer to name the theatre after, maybe?
Would be the Lloyd Webber Theatre, wouldn't it? But he has about 8 of those already, so much so that the name of his theatre company is called Lloyd Webber Theatres. No, I mean, the Sondheim Theatre thing is, there's one on Broadway, and, you know, you have to honour him because he's the most important musical theatre writer of all time. Well, certainly of our generation.
Nothing against him, I just thought,
no,
we're in Britain,
and Cameron owns a lot to him, so he just named one of his theatres after him. But it is odd that Les Mis is going to be playing in it, and you'd think you put a Sondheim piece in there. I don't know. Tonya, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Musical Talk.
That's all right.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
For more information about Musical Talk, please visit our website at musicaltalk.co.uk. You can email us at feedback@musicaltalk.co.uk, listen to past episodes on iTunes and YouTube, and follow our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.